chilling over there. They had one punt the whole game? We're up there looking at the glass at Lucas.
Tennessee did not
Tennessee
force
didn't
a punt.
I don't think.
At
No,
all.
Tennessee punted.
One time.
Yeah.
Did they punt one?
Kentucky did
Kentucky
not punt.
didn't punt.
They did not punt
Okay.
once.
That was a great game to watch. I predicted they would win, but I said in blowout. I'm shocked that the defense did not play better than that. That might have opened up a can of worms for who they have next. Somebody name starts with a G.
Some team that plays in
okay.
Athens.
But yeah, man, that was a great game to
dogs.
watch. And I'm not surprised at all. I mean, I predicted before the season. I know it's funny hearing everybody talk about how great a job Hypo is. I'm not surprised at all. I thought this is exactly where he would be. Actually, he may get a game better. I said 6-6.
Mm-hmm.
They're naturally probably going to win 7. So I'm not shocked that maybe that's some national media guys, but even some people who cover them on a daily basis act like it's a surprise. I don't. There was talent there. They have just developed the talent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do they need depth to continue to grow and have success in the SEC? Yeah, yes. But they have too deep. So stop saying that they don't have players. Don't say that's not true. They have too deep at every position. Now, offensive line probably is the weakest link to me once they start having injuries, and maybe defensive line. But that's on the outside pass rushers, not necessarily inside. I think those guys have played above average. But, man, what an awesome game. And only great to see Alante Taylor get the interception, which was the difference for a TD. And it almost reminded me of KB, Kevin Byard. Yeah, that right up the sideline. And I didn't see Byard's dance. Did he do a dance? I missed that one. But Alante Taylor then was in the injury after that in the tent. I don't know if he hurt his ankle while he was dancing. Because everybody was talking about they get free cookies because he's got
his cookie account.
He's got a cookie deal. So yeah, touchdown. Everybody on the team was thinking cookies. They wasn't thinking about we got an interception for a touchdown. We leading. They thinking about we get some cookies.
Well, Kevin Byard got his cookies too last night. He did. Lucas, do we have the sound from Byard? This goes to something Blaine has been talking about with him and trusting his eyes in situations. And I think this may be Byard sort of explaining what he saw and what he did.
I mean, really, like you said, play recognition. To be honest, I really wasn't even supposed to be over there. But, pre-snap communication, me and Jack Rabbit kind of anticipating, quick game or whatever. And as soon as I seen the quarterback, his shoulder was open, I just took off and went and picked the ball off.
He said something that I've always said about how do you read the quarterback. Everybody thinks you're supposed to look at their head and their eye. Well, it's really hard to see their eyes. You can manage with their heads, but they always going to give you the tip with your shoulders. Their shoulders tell you where they're going to throw. And that's exactly what he said, their shoulders. And I thought they played that defense earlier in the game, but he was more like a robber. And when I say robber, I mean, it's like he didn't have to backpedal. He would just stand there and read. That's when he's at his best against passes. And he saw this play before, I'm sure, and said, I'm going to jump that the next time. Yep. And he didn't hesitate 1 iota. You know what I call that? Playing freely. That's when you've reached a level of confidence in your ability that even if you see it wrong and you make a mistake, you don't care. There are no repercussions. And that's how athletes want to play. He said, I wasn't even supposed to be over there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he wasn't afraid that if he wasn't and he made a mistake, that it was going to cost him. That's where you want to be as an athlete and for sure, a professional athlete, but that's where you want to get to as a player, period. When I say I was checking plays and changing plays, and sometimes I was right, sometimes I was wrong, I didn't care about the repercussions. I'm still going to get chewed out either way. So why do I care? Yeah, so you have to get to I don't care mode when you play sports and not fear that you're going to fail, but you got to believe in your ability. And that's where he's at. He's at an all-time high right now. He's playing elite.
You said that something very similar about him when he got the pick that essentially was able to seal that last overtime game against Indy, where he came down to make
another
that
time.
Right, and you said, well, you can say what you said. It was very similar to this deal about him seeing something with his eyes and trusting it and saying, I'm going after the ball.
Well, the combination route, this happened to me when I was in Philly. It was a combination route where they run a go with a 7. He didn't fear that they may run a post behind him because that's how you keep the guy in the hole. He was playing the hole or quarter coverage to stay there and not go. He just took off immediately once he saw the 7. He watched the quarterback's shoulders and was out the gate and said, I fear nothing as far as if I make a mistake and they throw behind my head. He went off his instinct. That's when he's at his best. Let him free roam and go instead of trying to make him the man guy or match him up on the tight end and the slot and blitzing. You want to mix those in every now and then, but let him just play with his freedom and his instinct at playing that free safety kind of ball hawking type guy. He is one of the best.
Are you seeing how much different? Well, obviously he's playing like his old self. He's playing free again.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, don't get me wrong. Pressure makes those things happen, and that helps him out a lot.
Yeah,
because there's a clock in your head as a DB that the ball has to be out at a certain amount of time. So you know that, and it's a feel thing, especially at deep, in the deep half or quarter or middle of the field.
Are they deploying him differently this year, or do you think he's just feeling better? He's just feeling more free, or are they using him differently? Are they just letting him maybe do some things to be himself that they didn't really let him do last year based on his assignments?
I can't say that. I just think he's playing better with pressure and playing more freely within the defense. And I think at times, once you make a mistake, here's what happens. The coach then starts overcoaching you, and then you become second-guessing yourself, and you're watching the tape, and you go, why didn't I drive that?
Yeah.
It's happened to me before. That's how I know. And you say, dang, man, I knew they were running the 7 route. I studied them. I knew he was going to run the 7 route, but I had to stay in my responsibility because the coach kept on saying, stay in the hole, because, I got beat 2 games ago on it. Mm-hmm. So that's what happened. Then that little hesitation cost you. Yeah. It's over. So I think that's when I say freely, there is no hesitation in this game. I'm going to go with what I see and believe, and I'm going to react based off my film study, and then let his natural instincts take over. I don't know if they're really employing. I would say they're letting him be freer.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's playing, because if some teams motion or not, I don't know if he would go down. And Hooker played well too, I thought, in this game. He was a really good tackler. He brought the heat every time, and in the open field. So yeah, I think he's playing where he's naturally gifted, just a gift that he's got. The history tells you, even in college, this dude's a ball hawk. Didn't matter. Let him be that guy, and that's how you change games.
Let your stars do what they do best.
Yeah. Sometimes, he has so many talents, and that's why I say I can't really say the coaches are implementing anymore, because you want to put them on the best players. Well, usually they put him on Kelsey. Last year they did. That's something they would have done. Well, this year they put Cruikshank on him.
Yeah.
So then they let him be free. See?
Then what does he do? Chase down the quarterback, punch out the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ball hawk interception to close out Jaguars.
Yeah.
He basically closed out this game.
He sure did.
So yeah, he made his mark on him and Big Jeff and Autry up front. Man, am I proud of those guys, especially Big Jeff, in that he's a young player. He's only 24. Had 3 sacks before halftime. I said that was the next level he needed to get to, was pass rushing. Now, not expecting him to get 3 sacks a game. I want him to impact the passer, though, not just the running game.
Right.
Every game. Because, they were still trying to double him. You can still impact the game. Autry he was tipping balls, even if he didn't get pressure. And I think Dupree, Landry, I think all those guys, the front 4, I said had to play great. And I said the offensive line had to play great for them to win this game. I didn't think they were going to dominate the game. Offensive line played average at best. And they were going an elite defensive line. And Bobby Hart, I didn't expect him to be starting. And Lawan not to play.
Expected it, yeah.
But, considering he gave up, I think, about 6 pressures and maybe even a sack, I thought it was something that you can build on, though, if you got to continue to go with them. I think this is a game where you say you're playing against some of the best pass rushers in this league, top 10 at any point in time in their career. They can put some serious heat on. And guess what? You may have failed a few times, but they're fixable. So I wasn't really perturbed at all about his play. I don't think they changed their offense. I think they chipped every now and then, but I think they just said, we're going to run our stuff. And he did okay. I mean, did he do great? No. Did he do maybe a little below average? Probably so.
Yeah.
But what do you expect? This guy was off the street, by the way, and now's the backup. And then all of a sudden starts, day before he finds out he's going to start.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Trust me, there's a panic button that hits you inside, and you have to change this thought process that now you're going from I'm the backup to now I'm the starter. And you've planned all the way along that you thought a possibility that you could start.
Yeah.
And he was prepared.
Yeah.
So I thought it was encouraging to see what he did out there. Mm-hmm.
Let's get one quick phone call before we get to John Glennon is going to join us in the second segment. But Paul and Franklin is going to join us first on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Blaine.
What's going on?
Brother Blaine, what's going on?
What's happening with you?
Hey, man, look, I ain't been able to call all day. I've been working. But, Blaine, I have said it and said it over again. The last 4 or 5 years, this Titans program have drafted the right kind of players with the right kind of attitude, and they've made trades for the right kind of players, the right kind of attitude to win a championship. Blaine, I've been saying this, and I'll say it, brother, because I know you know about physical football because you played physical football. The Tennessee Titans are the most physical football team in the National Football League. And when you're the most physical football team, as we are, we can go on the road and bend teams to play to our will. We can do that, Blaine. This is a team, Blaine, that we can win it all because of our physicality. It's off the charts. Hey, man, thank y'all for taking my call, and God bless you.
Great point.
God bless Blaine.
Hey, somebody was at the game, and they text me exactly what this caller said. Good friend of mine.
Oh, was that your friend? Because
Yeah.
he referenced
No,
you a
this
lot
is
in
a
that phone
different one.
call. Blaine.
Yeah, no, that was not. That was not. I'm going to just say his name. Last name is Hopper. That was not Hopper, for sure. So you can go from there. But
Okay.
here's one of the things that he said, though. He says one thing that stood out crazy noticeable. And while in the restroom, the audio was being played from the Rams announcers. And the radio kept saying at halftime, Jalen Ramsey, went off in the locker room at halftime. How the Titans were out physicaling them, and he was yelling, we are better than them. Our best player is better than their best player. Our worst player is better than their worst player, and they are out physicaling us. This is from the Rams announcers at halftime, coming back into the third quarter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they out physical, just like the caller just said. And it was noticeable just watching the game. So that's tip to cap to not only Vrabel, staff, but the players too. They went out there and they hammered them.
Sure did.
And they didn't want no parts of it. None. Titans, here's a good example. Titans were down by 14 versus the Colts. I'm bringing this up. They kept fighting and came back. Mental toughness, physicality. The Rams down by 11, caved in, couldn't fight, didn't believe, no mental toughness. That's the difference.
Going to discuss this and more with John Glennon coming up next from SportsIllustrated.com. More Titans talk coming up on Blaine and Mickey on Monday.
Get the Steelers and Bears on Monday Night Football tonight at 7. 104.5 The Zone.
more touchdowns than Julio Jones on the year so far too. So who would have expected these things? But we're seeing a lot of surprises already for the Titans, huh?
What do you think about the running back by committee approach? It was interesting, just sort of seeing Peterson and Foreman, as it were, knock the rust off. Peterson hadn't played a game since last January. Foreman did go to training camp with the Falcons and played in the 3 preseason games, but it had been a minute since either one of those guys had touched the football.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to take some time, for both of those guys, obviously, before they're back in any kind of top form. And, I think Jeremy McNichols has been more of a third down guy, too. So, he's not used to, getting a lot of carries. And then, of course, you have to factor in, the fact that Taylor Lewan is not starting, that Nate Davis is not starting either. So between all those, issues, pretty much of a struggling rushing effort and really a struggling offense overall in most aspects. But I suspect, as I say, the more reps and even practices that Foreman and Peterson get, I think it's going to have to pick up. We heard people who watched the game last night heard Chris Collinsworth, kind of evaluating Adrian Peterson, saying, it was running too high. His pads were too high, and that's the kind of thing, when you haven't played in a while, that's the kind of thing that you'll do, and that will improve probably over time.
Just like our show hopes to, always trying to improve over time. And John Glennon, a big part of helping us out with that today. He's with SportsIllustrated.com covering the Titans.
Well, JG, I don't know if you were at the game, but, man, I expected a good showing. I said it earlier in the week, but not just out physical them and just beating them like that, especially from the defensive side of the ball. Were you surprised, or do you expect it?
I was surprised. I'll be honest with you. Maybe we shouldn't be now. This is 2 really explosive offenses in the last 3 games that the Titans have shut down. When you look at the Chiefs and the Rams, Titans give up a combined 1 touchdown in those 2 games, and it was a meaningless one at that, coming in the last 30 seconds of a game. So, I think we all expected some progress in the defense this year, because last year was such a kind of a horror show. But, boy, are we seeing some real strides here recently. Who would have thought that the Titans, after totaling 19 sacks last year, would have 23 already this year, tied for 5th in the league. And 10 of those sacks have come in the last 3 games. So, and the thing is, too, we've seen some of the next-gen stats. The Titans are getting almost all of this pressure with a 4-man rush. They're not needing to pull a guy out of coverage in order to get after the passer. Leaves them better off in coverage as well. And as a result, you're seeing some pretty impressive defensive performances, which the Titans will certainly need here if their offense continues to struggle as it did last night.
Man, I know we're on with John Glennon, and, man, keep it real from SI.com. The Titans, I have to say they got to be number 1 or number 2 in the AFC, but, man, they are showing now why they are, before the season, Super Bowl contenders. Would you agree with that assessment or not?
I think they're going to have to find a way, obviously, to be better on offense than they were last night. That running attack, which was 60 or 70 yards, is not going to cut it. But again, 2 starters missing on the offensive line, couple of backs that should get better. So I think that offense will get better. But yeah, to me, the biggest surprise, I felt like almost all of last year, even the Titans won the division. They were headed in the playoffs. To me, I always kind of felt I just can't see these guys going too far, honestly, because the defense was so poor. The third down defense was historically bad. Red zone was really bad, and you really just thought that was a huge Achilles heel to overcome. But now you're looking at this defense this year, and you're saying, man, if they can put some games together like that, against the Rams and against the Chiefs as well, if the defense can hold up and the offense can kind of learn to live without Derrick Henry a little bit better, yeah, I think they've got a real run. And again, you look at these 4 teams that they just beat, Buffalo, Kansas City, at the Rams, and at Indy. That's a pretty good run in the gauntlet right there to come away with 4 victories right there.
JG, man, when did you start believing when watching the game, and I don't want to call it turning point, that the Titans are going to win this game? It's over.
Well, I really felt, as soon as on the early stages of the game when they were pressuring and sacking Stafford on a regular basis, we weren't seeing that explosive Rams offense. We weren't seeing them, piling up big plays and yards down the field. And when you get those back-to-back plays, the interceptions culminating with the Byard pick six there, I think that gave the real indication to everybody that, the Titans defense was going to give the Rams offense, everything they could. So, I kind of thought at that point, again, if you can just have an offense that is good enough at that point, and to their credit, the Titans offense did drive for 2 touchdowns. So I really thought that early on they were giving indications this is going to be a long day for the Rams offense and that they had a real shot at things.
With where their record is now, not only do the players get the recognition, but the coaching staff and the head coach, where would you put him right now, I guess halfway through the season, for Coach of the Year in the NFL?
I think he's certainly got to be, high up there. I think he's definitely in the mix at this point, especially when you consider the amount of injuries that the Titans have dealt with this year. We mentioned the offensive line just last night. Obviously, Derrick Henry, but you look defensively too. Christian Fulton hasn't been able to play much. Bud Dupree has been kind of spotty at best. The hooker was out for a while too, and I believe, the Titans have more. I'm not positive of this, but I believe the Titans have more man games lost due to injury than any other team. So, generally speaking, a team like that, it's doing all it can just to kind of keep its head above water and stay in the playoff race. Not only are the Titans doing that, but they're kind of running away with the division, and again, if they can keep it up, certainly have a pretty decent chance at becoming the conference's top seed. So I think, you got to give a lot of credit to Mike Vrabel at this point.
Lastly, JG, I guess, do you know any information or more information about why Lawan did not play in this game? He was just more for emergency, or if they got down to the last guy, they were going to play him.
Yeah, weird situation again. About halfway through the week, all of a sudden he appeared on the injury report with a knee issue, and didn't practice Friday, if I recall correctly, but was still listed as questionable. But I guess we can only assume until we talk to Mike Vrabel here in a little bit today that maybe he had a little tweak of that knee as well. But I think it has to be a concern now for the Titans because, not only was there that original ACL, obviously that kept him out so much last year, but this is 2 games now where he hasn't played because of, kind of sliding or, backslides on that injury and tweaking the knee again. So certainly that has to be something of a concern when your starting left tackle is a little bit questionable each game.
Well, at some point, drafting an offensive tackle the last 2 years in the first and second round is going to come back and bite the Titans if Lawan is not available.
Yeah, well, I was going to say also, it's just not a great sign either. I don't think that Dylan Radins, obviously was a second-round pick last year. This is a guy who played left tackle, in college. Now granted the Titans drafted him as a right tackle and he's been playing, either right tackle or right guard since he's with the Titans, but you would have thought before the season if the Titans were in a jam like they were last night with no Taylor Lewan, and to see them putting Bobby Hart and a guy who was just signed as a street free agent a few weeks ago over a guy, a second-round draft pick who played left tackle in college, I don't think that's a real good look, for Dylan Radins right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Keeping it real here with John Glennon of SI.com.
Well, JG, and the other thing is, too, Aaron Brewer comes off of injured reserve and started ahead of Radins at guard. I mean, he's not only is he not getting on the field as a tackle, he got substituted for an undrafted free agent center out of Texas State to play guard instead of him.
Yeah, and of course Brewer is just coming off the injured reserve, so hadn't played in about a month either. Yeah. And we heard a few weeks ago, offensive line coach Keith Carter, it really sounded as if Radins had maybe taken some strides, and there was the talk of he's right there. He's the next man up, and at least to me, it sounded as if Radens was about to get some more significant playing time. Maybe I misread that or misheard that, but it's just not happening. And from all we understand about Dylan Radens, great work ethic, great learning ability, but it's just not happening right now. And again, I think it's one thing if Dylan Radens hadn't started at the beginning of the year, wasn't playing much at the beginning of the year. I think that could certainly be understood, given the Titans had some veterans ahead of him. But, when Taylor Lewan is out of the game, when Kendall Lamb, his backup, is out of the game, and again, you're using Bobby Hart in at left tackle, and as you mentioned, Aaron Bruin at guard, right guard, which Dylan had played quite a bit, kind of makes you wonder where his progress is.
Speaking of progress, has anybody made any progress at all finding out how some knucklehead changed Jalen Ramsey's first unsportsmanlike conduct call to just something other than unsportsmanlike? So he just gets to stay in the game. He can just rack up all the.
I didn't even know they could change the call.
Yeah.
Is
any
that
explanation?
Strange? Or I mean that I have never.
Superstar.
Maybe I'm missing, but I had never seen or heard anything like that before. I think we've all seen. Officials maybe 5 seconds after they make a call say, "Oops, my mistake.
Right.
I made the right call. Or, excuse me, I made the wrong call. It shouldn't have been unsportsmanlike. It was unnecessary roughness instead." But this, it was over a quarter later after they had called unsportsmanlike conduct on Jalen Ramsey in the first quarter. There had been no announcement of a change. It was still listed, on the NFL's official play-by-play as unsportsmanlike. Mike Vrabel certainly hadn't been alerted to the fact that there had been a change on that call. For all we know, Jalen Ramsey was playing with the idea that he already had one unsportsmanlike call on him. And then, when he gets that unsportsmanlike, to all of a sudden say, "Oh, oops! By the way, did I not mention that we changed that call? That way, he's not going to be ejected now." That really opens you up to a lot of scrutiny. I think if you're the NFL, it's just not a good look at all. Maybe he's certainly completely above board and he just forgot to mention it at the time. But isn't there a protocol there? At what point does that call become the official call? Can a referee say at any point in the game, say, "Oh no, by the way, 3 quarters ago, when I called this, what I really meant was such and such." That's a big gray area there, and at some point that call has to stick. You can't just say, "Yeah, I forgot to mention it to everybody," but really we changed that. So I did mention, or I did email the NFL this morning asking about that play, how it came about, what the protocol was, and that was about 4 or 5 hours ago, and I've gotten a big Zippo in return so far. So, yeah, it's kind of a head-scratcher to me.
Yeah, tweet him.
John Glennon will leave here and check his junk email filter. Maybe that's where that response is from the NFL, because that's exactly what all that was last night. John Glennon, our guest on Blaine and Me.
Oh, man, you just hit on the head. Has the refereeing, I'm a big proponent of just not even the referees are going to be who they are and they're going to make mistakes here or there. Man, I tell you what, already in this season, halfway through, refereeing has just been absolutely horrible. And I know it's a hard job, but why are they missing calls like this that they shouldn't, miss? I don't understand what's going on here, man. Has instant replay just made it worse for them? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
I really think that is the case, Blaine. I think that instant replay in a lot of ways has made it worse because, what the referees are seeing in split-second time from one angle, we, the public, get to see in slow motion time from 15 different angles. And it's much, much easier within 2 seconds time, we can all go, "Oh my God, what a horrendous call that was." Whereas the official in the heat of the moment, doesn't have that option. So I do think that instant replay has made things look worse for the NFL's officials than it has. But I don't know what the exact solution is. People say full-time officials, but in some ways that seems a little bit of a stretch. There's only so many games in an NFL season. It's hard to figure exactly what guys would be doing all the time if they're not at an NFL game. But, some of those calls we saw last night, again, Not only that weird Jalen Ramsey situation, but on the other side of things, that roughing the quarterback passing against Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I didn't think that was.
I thought that was terrible. A guy gives him a little shove just after Tannehill throws the pass, and that's a roughing the passer. I could certainly see why the Rams were upset about that. So yeah, some kind of brutal calls on both sides of the coin.
We're with John Glennon, with Titans writer for SI.com. I guess lastly for me, I thought before the NFC had stronger teams at the top for sure, and that they were better than the AFC. But is the AFC having more parity, making them just as strong?
I think it's starting to look that way a little bit now. Certainly the Ravens are a good team. We know that the Chargers are a little bit up and down. Buffalo with a shocking loss yesterday. And I think below them it gets kind of questionable. I think all of a sudden the Raiders are imploding with player character situations. But yeah, when you look at a game last night, the Rams and the Titans, everybody kind of figured the Rams were very possibly one of the two best teams in the league, maybe right there with Arizona and possibly Green Bay, Tampa Bay, I guess too. But when a kind of a fringe elite team from the AFC, at least before last night, comes in and just pastes one of the NFC top teams, I think that does help the parity issue quite a bit, and all of a sudden the AFC looks a little bit better than it did before the Titans kicked off against the Rams last night.
JG, good stuff, man. This team, top seed in the AFC right now, second seed in the NFL, and they're doing it with all kinds of people injured and tape and duct tape and barbed wire and everything. It's just been crazy to watch, but, man, they just keep getting it done.
They are getting it done, and they've gotten through this gauntlet now, and you look at the schedule ahead, certainly it gets much easier. It's hard to find games in which you'd say the Titans are definitely not going to be favored. You think maybe at Pittsburgh, might be a situation there, maybe at New England, maybe. But aside from that, the Titans, I think, are certainly going to be favorites the rest of the way and have the possibility, if they can, put some life into that offense, of really turning this into something special here.
Yeah, watch the heck out. Hey, thank you, JG. People can follow John at Glennon Sports or SI.com covering the Titans beat. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, guys.
JG.
Yes, sir. JG referenced Titans injuries. I didn't catch this in the game broadcast last night, but apparently there was a stat that NBC Sports gave about the Titans and history and injuries.
This season?
Yes. Like
Uh-oh,
from
I
an
didn't see
all-time standpoint. I'll share it. Next, Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone.
Don't even think about telling Buck Rising about trap games.
Man, in what world? If you're somebody who legitimately believes in the idea of a trap game after years and years of watching NFL football, frankly, I question your judgment as a sports fan. Teams lose to teams that are better than them because trap games don't exist.
The Buck Rising Show. Tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
I saw that he tweeted this as well. Great stat by Sunday Night Football on NBC, and this was another reporter, an NFL reporter I saw. This was his tweet. Great stat by Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Titans have used 77 players this season, 10 away from the single-season record, halfway through the season.
Reflecting on all their injuries.
Yes, they've used 77 different people in a game. That's 10 away from the record. And I searched Sunday Night Football's account. I searched every account that I could find, and I can't find video of Chris Collinsworth or somebody saying it, but multiple people took that information and put it back out.
I did not see it. Did you see it?
So if that's true, they've used and we could do the math. We could go back and look at all the rosters.
It would take us a minute, but
it would.
I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case.
I wouldn't either. That's why I thought this is probably true. I mean, Bobby Hart's out there starting at left tackle for you.
So this is also guys who are on active, inactive, regardless if they play or not. This is the practice squad included in this measurement, you think, or just the actual roster?
I bet it's roster. I bet it's actually on the 53-man. That's what it would have to be. 77 on the 53.
That's what makes all this so remarkable.
Yeah.
How they manage through this. And that shows you they're developing not only the starters, but the backups and making them stay in tune to the game plan because you're one step away and keep those guys engaged. Because there's a point in time when you're the backup, you feel like I'm only going to be the backup. You're paying attention, but you're not paying attention as though you're the starter.
Right.
And to keep those guys engaged and knowing there's a possibility that you could play right away. The good players that are backups, they pay attention to detail because you just don't know, and you want to get that opportunity. You want to be prepared. I've seen guys not prepared and get cut the next week just because they weren't in tune to the game plan, wasn't paying attention. So that happens all the time. And, one thing that I keep getting tweeted, and I don't know the answer to this, so I have to answer it in this manner. A lot of Jim Swartz conversations talking about implementing some of his game plan and this and that. I have no idea what role Swartz has. Coach Swartz, who coached, he was there with me for, I don't know, at least 5 years. He was DC my last year. His role is, besides giving advice and, coaching up and, maybe, helping everyone out on the defensive staff. So I have to give all the credit to Shane Bowen. I can't, without having any knowledge of what he's actually doing besides just what everybody else is doing as far as implementing and giving advice to not only Bowen, but to Vrabel as well. And if they decide to use it or not, they can decide, yeah, we like it, but we don't want to do that.
Right.
Cool. All right, great. So I don't know how much impact it's had. I think the impact is what they've said all offseason based off their moves, and that's the organization, is we needed better players, and they got them, and they are hunting. And we're not even seeing a full-fledged Dupree yet.
No.
He was on a rotation as far as playing time, but he's starting to look healthier and healthier the more I watch him. And so once that happens, it's over. That will be the group that takes us to the promised land. And then hopefully by then the offense starts clicking with the three-headed monster at running back, and then maybe Julio becomes more of an impact than what he's doing now if he stays healthy.
Steve in Smyrna has wanted to join the Titans discussion for a minute here. Steve, we appreciate your patience. Thanks for calling. Steve, what's up, man?
Hey, I just want to say first that I listen to you guys on 104.5 The Zone all the time when I'm out and around on the sales route. And y'all keep me informed and educated and quite often entertained. I got to bring it up, Blaine. I think a week or two ago you were talking about something, and you mentioned that something was as hot as fried fish grease or something like that, man. Dude, I laughed all the way home, and I still remembered it today. It's funny. What I wanted to talk about just for a minute, not necessarily just, Vrabel and coaching, which they're so freaking good right now, what they're doing and the decisions they're making. But, man, I want to shout out Amy Adams Strunk at the very top. Was it Amy who went out and got John Robinson, or was that prior to her?
Oh, no, it was Amy.
It's Amy.
Well, so Amy got John. Mm-hmm. Them together went out and got Vrabel. And Vrabel, who lost his coordinator last year, has got, is it Bowen that's our coordinator now? offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
At any rate,
Shane,
Shane
offensive,
Bowen
yeah,
and
defense.
Todd Downing.
Yeah, Bowen and Downing. Yeah.
yeah, excuse me, Downing. But at any rate, man, like you said, you stole a little of my thunder with the 77 players, and you know we've got so many. I was looking at the field last night, and I thought, who in the hell is Brewer? I follow the Titans. I'm reading Jim White. I'm listening to you guys all day. Titans everything, right? I'm a big fan, and I'm like, who is Brewer? We have so many men out there on that field, and these coaches have gotten them prepared and ready and told them how heavy a weight it is for them to be out there and to perform. And, man, I feel like we're beating some of these really top-tier teams with our second-string players. It's unbelievable, and the whole city's on fire right now, excited for the Titans because they're winning like they're winning with next man up, right?
Yeah, man. Appreciate the call, Steve, for sure.
Yeah, that's hats off to, not only the players, but the coaching staff. I mean, it's hard for us to keep up with who's active and not and who's up. I think Brewer was injured for a while there.
He missed a month.
Yeah, and then he came back and
He's
then
on IR.
yeah,
He came back, practiced 3 days, and was like, hey, dude, you starting to go.
That's why I'm always trying to keep track because I lose track because it happens so much.
Oh, Bobby Hart, we had to think last night to pull his name. He's like, the
I
other
called
guy.
him something else at first. I don't know what I said.
We got there.
Yeah,
Eventually.
but eventually the next go round. Yeah, Bobby Hart.
Bobby Hart.
Yeah, because I was watching the game and I was like, where? I remember I text you guys and said, "Where's Lawan?" Because we're here and not on the field in L.A., so we have no idea what's going on.
And he was on the graphic package for NBC to start, Lawan, which means that's who the Titans said. They don't just look and see who runs out and type in their name. That's all given to them by the PR people for the Titans. So they told him, Lawan's starting, and then Lawan didn't start. Hey, Bobby Hart, hey, man, go get stretched out, dude.
Well, you know what? How about this? Bobby Hart, they could have showed his name, but he would not have been a person that they interviewed, asked him to college or high school or whatever he wanted to say. They probably had no graphic of that, him saying anything. Meanwhile, everybody else, got a shot of that. So he probably wasn't even on there.
Would have been like a Twitter egg.
Yeah, it just would have been his face, and this is, a Bobby Hart.
All right, would have run downstairs, snapped a cell phone pic of him.
Yeah,
man,
they might not even know what school he went to.
Hey, somebody tell us which one is Bobby Hart.
Forgot about the Twitter eggs.
We need a picture.
Twitter eggs.
Just put up a Twitter egg when they introduce. We're not busting on you, Bobby Hart. You had a tough game.
Hey, man, I appreciate what he did.
You held it. You held it as
do.
well as you could,
I know
man.
people going to, he was horrible and this and that, man. He was playing. I mean, at the last minute, he was prepared. And did he play great? No, but I appreciate players on his team. They are going to love this guy.
Yeah.
Just because they know how hard it is to do what he did at a premier position now. They put their best pass rushers right there going against a guy that nobody knows. So he thinks, oh, man, I'm about to have a field day. He was thinking like Simmons had a field day and a half. Well, guess what? That guy didn't have a field day against him. They may have won some, but they didn't have a field day. And I think that's commendable, and I think you can build on that. I really do.
Hadn't played a game in the NFL this season until a couple of weeks ago, Bobby Hart. That's what makes the season special when guys just pick it up and do their thing.
Yeah,
when we come back, people are on the phone, want to talk about this. We'll get back to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Just hold. We'll get back to you in the next segment. Also got our Ding Dong of the Week coming up in hour number 2, so get your Ding Dong ready as well. It's Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone.
Who's a Ding Dong?
Last night with the nation watching, the Titans got a win against the Rams.
Stafford under pressure, grabbed again, sacked! Big Jeff, 1, 2, 3.
Talk about it all day on Reaction Monday on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
Well, a lot of you Titans did it. They went out and beat them 28-16 on Sunday Night Football. Rams didn't score a touchdown until there was 24 seconds left. And if I had been playing in that game, I'm just telling you, I would have gone and hit whoever scored the touchdown after the play. I would have completely lost my cool.
Oh,
and if they flagged me for unsportsmanlike conduct, I would just point at Ramsey and say, "What about his other unsportsmanlike conduct?" Then I would have thrown my helmet off.
Right, and then the coach would have told you to go to the locker room.
That's okay. There's 15 seconds left by then.
No, what happens is, guys are starting to play. I think actually Jackrabbit knew this. Because he kept getting, give him credit on this one. He kept getting up holding or whatever. He's like, I'm not giving up no touchdown. They're gonna have to run this thing in from the 1 yard line. If I they're not getting on me.
Right.
Yeah. Some guys are unaware that, oh man, the shutout is in play from getting a touchdown. So you got to remind them in the huddle, hey man, let's keep this no touchdown, no touchdown. You got to just say it every other play because some guys are just in the zone and just trying to do their job. They're not really focused on what the score is. And, they're not keeping tabs on it all. And the coaching staff can do it too when you get on the sideline, but it's up to the players to me. Keep them aware.
I would have gone H-Town. I would have hit somebody. Whoever scored a touchdown, I would have just gone and hit him.
Now, you know what I would have said once they would have scored? I would have said, ding dong, what were you doing? We had no touchdown. They would look at me like, wait, we still going to win, man.
Right. I mean, and the game's over. That's why I'm saying I know I can hit somebody. There's a 0% chance we're going to lose the game. I can hit that guy now. I'm hitting him.
Man.
Because the Rams kept the garbage time scoring. And I get it. You keep playing until the end of the game. But we haven't heard anything about David Long today. But he, got nicked up, left the field in garbage time.
Yeah.
So, and at that point, I'm thinking I would hit somebody now.
Yeah. The reason why I keep laughing every time you say that is because those are things that I would envision myself doing in a game. That I would not do. That's why this is so hilarious to me. And then I'll be like, hey, man, do you know we could have shut them out from a touchdown? And they go, oh, man, I had no idea.
It's just a giant scoreboard right there. But if once they scored, though, I'm not hitting him until after they score. But then when they score, and I'm going to hustle. I'm going to hustle to make it look like just an effort play. I'm hitting that guy. 100% I'm not pulling up. I'm hitting that guy. I'm hitting him, and I'll take the consequences. That's a $7,000 fine. Okay. Yeah, you want it in Bitcoin or pennies?
Bitcoin,
cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency. I'm hitting that guy.
Oh, man.
And you know me, I'm mild-mannered. Like, it takes a lot to get me worked up. I thought I would hit everybody. I might hit 2 people.
Yeah.
You don't mess with 84, man. 84. Hey, man, I'm out there playing corner, wearing 84 in my dreams. Don't mess with me.
I just kept on saying, I don't want to hurt the team. That's the only thing that saved
Game's
me.
over then. I mean,
15 seconds, they can get an onside kick. And then nope, I don't want to hear the noise.
I'm hitting that dude. I'm just telling you. I'm hitting him.
Yeah, no, especially when you got Fishbone and then Vrabel's the same way. Except a lot taller.
Don't do dumb S that hurts the team.
Right. I said, I refuse to ever get that term attached to my name at any point in time during my playing
Sony
career.
Michelle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I loved you in college. I'm hitting
Georgia.
you. 24 seconds left. As soon as he crossed the plate, wherever I was, I would have hustled over there and hit him.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm trying to knock the ball loose.
There's a lot of hitting out there.
You're going to play the end of the whistle. I'm going to play till like the echo of the whistle.
Oh, man.
Is that wrong?
That's H-Town Mickey coming out, but there's a lot of H-Town Mickeys running around out there, so I wouldn't be surprised that would have happened though.
But you're gonna add 100 yards or whatever to your total out here in garbage time. Okay, somebody's getting hit. Now I'm not going to try to hit. I'm not hitting any in the knee or anything. I'm not trying anybody's career, but I'm still going to hit him.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you feel it.
Yep, I'm gonna hit, maybe in the ribs. I'm not going for the head. I respect your head, but I'm hitting you in the ribs.
I never did that.
Really?
I really
like at the end of a blowout where you're like, okay. And I know you were, as the caller said, hotter than fish grease.
Yeah. I'm sure I did it, but it was within it wasn't a late hit or anything. I was just like, I'm going to run over and hit him anyway. I know he's going to score.
Okay. But I'm just going to get in there and hit this guy, even if just whether he's across the goal line or not, I'm going to blast him.
Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah.
For sure. Not in a position where they weren't going to score a touchdown, though.
Okay.
They hadn't scored a touchdown in the game. It was just more out of frustration, and we lost, and they're about to score, and I ran over and legal hit. right, like let's say you're about to have contact. A lot of players you see them run by now. I'm hitting them. I ran this far, so I called it uncoiling on somebody.
Okay.
So when I got here, and if it's legal and you're right half an inch from that goal line, and I'm right there a half inch away from you, and I'm running to meet you at the plane, and I knew you was gonna score anyway, I'm hitting you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna finish the job.
Yeah, I did. Regardless, I'd be like, well, I got a piece of.
Step inside.
I felt better about it though.
What about like a step inside the end zone? I came this far. Would you do the drive-by, or would you clip them, or would you just go ahead and blast them?
Step in the end zone, man. They call the penalty so much now. I don't know. I got real close. Someone can look it up. Let's say when the Titans played the Eagles, and old Hitman was on the Eagles.
Was there a okay.
Yeah. EG got me earlier in the game. Like, I'm trying to tackle him. I'm trying to stand him up, and next thing you know, the force of the world is coming. I'm going backwards. Boom. I'm like, that does not happen. I'm getting you because he had other players jump on, push him, so it was a standstill until that happened. I was like, oh, man, he broke loose at, I think it might have been the last touchdown, and I'm all the way on the other side of the field, and I was at the hottest fish grease level.
Okay.
And I was trying not to get bite up on play action pass. I'm a steaming. I want to hit somebody. He breaks loose for, I don't know, it might have been 40 yards. It was a screenplay. He was on the other side or a flare route. On the other side of the field, he breaks loose, makes somebody miss. I think he made Kirkland miss or somebody, and then boom, and he's gone. I'm like, oh, man. I said, let me get on my horse. Shoom. I said, I know I'm not going to catch. I'm too far away. And he got right there. It may have been a step inside, maybe right about to step in there. I just uncoiled and just made him fly through the air like a bird. Mm-hmm.
That's a big, big human to move through the air.
Both of us look at each other because, he's flying, I'm flying. And we look at each other and say, that was payback, huh? I had to feel better about that time you got me, man. He just started laughing.
That video will turn up. They always seem to.
I'm sure it's out there because that was a touchdown.
Oh, man.
What was that, 02, 03? Yeah. Somewhere around
03,
there.
right?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Philly Titans.
Yeah.
Eddie George touchdown run.
Javon Curse broke his foot in that game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What foot did he break? What bone was it? You remember?
Oh, fifth metacarpal.
It sure was. Dang it. That's why this scares the living bleep out of me.
What really scares me, because I wasn't on the Titans at that time, is I saw it firsthand with Thigpen.
Mm-hmm.
And he had it twice.
Oh.
And he got it in the summer when they signed him. So he had literally 3 months maybe. And he was fine. And then all of a sudden, the plate and the screws all broke. And he had to go redo it. And he came back and was a soldier, but he was never the same after that.
That guy healthy was as smooth as
he was
butter.
a great route runner.
Yeah.
He was tough. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, if y'all had gotten a healthy version of him or Pickens or a healthy version of, anyway, that's
Spilt milk, right?
Ifs and buts, candy and nuts, as Coach Mack says. All right, first segment over. We can take phone calls and talk for the whole rest of the show. For the rest of the show,
all Titans.
We'll do all Titans, Ding Dong of the Week, Tony,
right,
Kenny, Kyle, Alex, everybody hold on. If you got a Ding Dong of the Week, you can hit us in the Zone TV chat. You can tweet us at Blaine and Mickey, or you can call the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, 615-737-1045.
Brett Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay give you compelling things in sports to think about, along with, well, other things.
So you count eggs as poultry because it comes from a chicken? Is it not? Is it not protein? You got to answer the question.
No, I feel like you're finagling.
No, I'm not. You got to answer the question, Babs. Is chicken and eggs the same thing?
No.
When Rocky says, I'm going to take a glass of protein, what does he get?
Oh, he did get an egg. Wrong.
You're all welcome. Nashville and everyone listening, you're all welcome.
The 3HL, today, starting at 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
God, my man. Don't use Mark Spain. So we will get to the ding dong of the week, but let's roll through some of these calls. Kenny, the mailman, has been on hold the longest. Kenny, sorry to make you wait, buddy. How you doing?
No problem, fellas. Always good to talk to you. I am so looking forward to the Mike Vrabel show this evening. It's my understanding Coach Dave McGinnis is the guest. Is that correct?
You may know sooner than we do. We will have to ask our crack staff there and all our interns there that work under Lucas.
Yeah, well, he is, and I'm definitely going to call him because he is the only man in America. I mean, nobody on NBC, CBS, ABC that reported that an unknown Titan snuck out and blew up the Rams' homecoming floats. And I don't know if the ATF has gotten involved, the chips or whatever, but I was wanting to get his up-to-date information on that. He literally said that right at the end of the game. But I wanted to compliment your radio station for allowing people to have a great fun. This is not brain surgery and say stuff like that. I don't know if people know, but consultants all over the country are cutting back on people having fun, saying things, saying, 1.2% of the people might be offended, so you can't say anything. Y'all are not doing that, and that's why I listen, even though the games are on TV. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Kenny. Kenny, longtime listener, rock star listener of this radio station. He's right. Tonight at 6 o'clock.
Yeah. It's confirmed by Rhett Bryan.
Confirmed by the one and only Rhett Bryan. And on Twitter, Lucas has the audio of Coach Mack saying that. But it is tonight, Mike Vrabel Show presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Mike Keith and Coach Dave McGinnis taking your calls and your questions. It's 6 o'clock tonight about the big win. This is what Kenny was talking about with Coach Mack.
That's what this was to them, a homecoming game.
That's absolutely true.
Well, and guess what? We just blew their float up. There you go.
There's a destroyed parade float.
They call red off guard right there.
Reds try to keep it on the rails at that point. Coach Mack was he was enjoying that win last night. I texted him and said, "I know you enjoyed that one a whole lot." He said, "Yes, I did." Tony the Stud up next about the Titans win. Hey, Tony.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Man, I just wanted to talk about Adrian Peterson a little bit before I give a ding-dong out. I know he only rushed for, I think he had 10 rushes for 21 yards. Does that sound about right?
10 for 21 was correct, I do believe. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So about 2 yards for average. But did y'all see that move he put on when he was going to get tackled behind the line of scrimmage on one of those?
The first one.
About 3 or 4 yards behind. And he put a spin move onto the left. And then if you just watch his demeanor like throughout the game, you go back, I've already watched it twice now, and you go back and you watch him on these plays that he's in there for. And there was another play where, if you remember, he used to have them real big bug eyes when he's his eyes just used to get massive like a big grasshopper. Yeah, and there's a play he was lined up to the left of Ryan Tannehill, and Ryan waved at him, get over to the right. And you just saw Adrian look. His eyes got real big, and he just nodded his head. And ended up getting in a touchdown. I just think I think that puts the Titans in the top 3 of the league, y'all. But my ding-dong of the week, I got to give it to not only the Packers, but specifically Aaron Rodgers for costing me $1,400 yesterday on my 14 parlay. You idiot. All right, love y'all.
Wait, so I'm assuming that means he bet on that game, assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to play.
Yeah, before the whole COVID thing happened.
Yeah. Oh, Aaron Rodgers deception.
The immaculate deception. Let's go to Kyle in Georgia next. He wants to talk about Mike Vrabel. What's going on, Kyle?
It's good. I'm actually a mailman too, so I might as well continue the mailman sort of draw. But I just want to say how Mike Vrabel, he's built for this next generation of football. Where right now we're doing 17 games a season. Who knows? Might be 18 games a season pretty soon. But coaches nowadays have to be smarter, with how they churn their roster, and obviously John Robinson has a lot to do with that too. But Mike Vrabel just has that mentality. He's like, you know what? I need to save some of these players from even bigger games. So it's all right if he's got a pitch count on all these all-star players. But this team, he's built for this. This is year 6 for him, I believe. So yeah, he's ready. He's ready for this next generation of football, and I'm excited. So tighten up.
Appreciate you.
All right, Kyle. Thank you. Not year 6 for Mike Vrabel.
Is it
year
4 or 5?
4, right? Because 2018 was year one.
Yeah.
4 for Mike Vrabel. Yeah, he's managed a roster, and we gave the stat earlier from last night on Sunday Night Football, and the Zone TV chat has rolled so far along, but somebody in Zone TV chat, Dallas, I think, had said, because I said this apparently got mentioned, and I missed it. He said it was during the fourth quarter. Sunday Night Football crew said the Titans had 77 guys on the roster so far, 10 away from the NFL single season record. And it's halfway through the 17-game season. It could very well – I hope they don't. But the way things are going, they could very well break that record.
Great example of how it takes everyone, including your superstars, whether they're up or down, to win in today's NFL. Because injuries are happening all over the place, and they may be down 1 or 2 games, bringing somebody sub, but then now you have to bring in a new backup. They have to get caught up with the system. Some positions are harder. The verbiage is harder depending on what position you play. Especially if you're a quarterback, it's real tough. And that's what makes everything so remarkable, what the Titans are actually accomplishing and how they're playing. And the mentality doesn't change. So whatever they're doing as far as scouting, they're also looking at the personality type of these players. It's not just their talent. Because I'm sure they probably could have found maybe a little more gifted or talented or younger players, but I think they got to fit this model that JR and Vrabel like.
Right.
And that's how you continue that tough mentality, next man up, do your job, be focused, be a professional, and play hard. And it's not that hard. And be responsible in what you're supposed to be doing. It means I don't mean you're not going to fail. Bobby Hart, we're sitting here talking about him, and I said, hey, man, I appreciate what he did, but did he have some bad plays? Oh, yeah, he did. But he knew his responsibility, and he gave his best effort, and that's all you can ask of him. That's it. This guy was on the streets.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why they was throwing all those sharp passes, though.
Sideways passes.
Sideways. I kept saying they would go sideways. Because you don't do a lot of that in the NFL. Because the guys are too fast.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like we're playing in Canada where the field is all over the place. I mean, it's so wide. You may throw one pass like that a game. And they did it multiple times with shorter passing and none over 16 yards that were complete.
Yeah. I think that was right.
So that's how you slow down a pass rush.
You just get rid of the ball. Let's stay at it on the phones. You can share your topic. Then if you got a ding-dong of the week you want to throw in, we'll share ours coming up. Alex in Hendersonville up next. Hey, Alex.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Big Titans win last night, but I'm really, really concerned about this offense.
Mm-hmm.
I know the defense came through clutch last night, but if you didn't have those 2 big defensive plays, you could have looked at a whole different ball game last night.
Or even
the
penalty on the
under
quarterback.
200 yards of offenses. It concerns me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to know what y'all think about what do you think the Titans are going to do coming up in the next couple weeks to get this offense going without Derrick Henry? And if the defense can play the same way it's been playing the past couple weeks, this team will be unstoppable.
Alex, thank you, man.
Oh, no, they got to expect that the offense is going to play better. I think some of it was the transition of 2 new running backs, let's be honest, and then as well as, your backside tackle not playing again. So you have to protect yourself to a certain point, and once they saw how this game was going and the defense was dominating, they played it close to the vest and very conservative. I think that's what you had to do once you saw how this game was going, and then they made a big play that they needed by Byard, as well as Simmons and Archery, the way they were playing. They were dominating the game. I don't think they can think that they're going to continue that way, but hopefully you have your tackle. Then this rotation of running backs will be a little smoother in the transition, how you're going to utilize them. So I think they will be better. I think we'll get to see a little bit more of A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, too, impacting the games more so each and every game as they throw the ball a little bit more. I think you got to, they want to be 50-50, but I think they have to know that they're going to have to, adjust a little bit, even if it's sharp passing game,
right,
to compensate for the loss of the king.
Let's give our ding-dongs of the week again. Mark Spain, Real Estate, making this happen. Gosh, man, there's a lot of people weighing in on the Zone TV chat today. Lonzo says my ding-dong of the week is Mississippi State's 2 kickers. They
What
wound
happened?
they wound up. Was it 3 kicks? I think that 2 different guys made. They lost to Arkansas 31-28. They missed a field goal at the buzzer that would have tied it. They were 0 for 3. 2 different kickers missed all 3 of their field goals, and they lost by 3 points to Arkansas, Mississippi State. A ranked Mississippi State team lost at Arkansas. Could not get a kick through the uprights. Lucas Panzica taking a phone call right now. You ready to give your ding dong, Lucas? Share it with the world here.
Yes, I'm wrestling with my ding dongs because I don't know if it's Dan Mullen or if it's the people that are in charge of hiring or firing the head coach at Florida, because it feels over, right? At this point, Dan Mullen's 2-9 against Power 5 opponents in their last 11 games.
Yeesh.
This is from Edgar Thompson, Florida Gators beat writer for the Orlando Sentinel. He tweeted this out today.
Thompson, yes.
Dan Mullen said Gator QB Anthony Richardson hurt his knee dancing in the team hotel a day after he was cleared for concussion. Said MRI is clear. Needless to say, Mullen was not pleased with the news on Friday night. Everything's going wrong here. He's saying the wrong thing. They just got blown out by a bad South Carolina team, a very bad South Carolina team. And I feel like it's a deja vu of 2017 Butch Jones, where it feels over and it's lingering. And I can't see, this is at a program like Florida, you don't get in this type of hole and then dig your way out of it, especially when recruiting is going the way that it's going. So I'll have a co-ding-dong between Dan Mullen and the people that are in charge of firing him, because it is over.
Hey, man, but if you have a good recruiting summer, he could be right back in the hunt, right? Or no?
Well, if he gets that chance, all you need, and I told you guys this, and people know this, our listeners are smart. Pooh runs downhill like it does everywhere on a college campus. So it starts with the trustees. If the trustees get embarrassed enough, then they go tell the chancellor, hey, man, you got to get rid of this clown. And then the chancellor tells the AD, hey, you got to get rid of this clown.
Did they just give him an extension?
It doesn't matter. Trustees get embarrassed enough, then the Pooh runs downhill to the athletic director, which then all pools around the coach. And he's bought out and sent on his way.
What has he done to embarrass him? Because what he just said?
Just losing, and it's just not going well. And he said some stuff last year. He's just made a bunch of missteps. And Dan Mullen, if you've gone back a couple of years ago and said Dan Mullen, people have said, oh, my gosh, great coach. And there are people who don't like everybody. But and Lucas is shaking his head. I mean, if you told Vols fans, you could have had Dan Mullen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think people would have taken it. And if Tennessee had moved a little earlier on firing Butch Jones in 2017, I think Dan Mullen would have been the head coach in 2018. But here, I just want you to listen to Shane Beamer at halftime when South Carolina was blowing out Florida on Saturday during the halftime interview. This is how excited he was to be winning a football game.
It's nice to do these halftime interviews where I'm winning. It's been a while.
I respect the realism from Shane Beamer. I do.
Yeah, man, I guess that's what happens.
Blaine Bishop, who gets the number 23 Hitman hottest fish grease ding dong?
Well, I'm not going to give it to anyone in particular.
Okay.
But it's going to go with all the upsets that were in the NFL. Let's just start and use the example of the Buffalo Bills losing to the Jaguars. As I say, every week, any team can be beat by another NFL team.
Giants beat the Raiders. That was the other
Giants
one.
beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
And there was I think 3 or 4 upsets in Dallas. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's always about the matchups and who's healthy and who's not. The NFL is set up for very close games week in and week out, and we even seeing more of that now with all these overtime games. And that's just show how close the teams are. And to get a break here or there, you could upset the elite team, even if you're the bottom of the road as far as record-wise in the NFL, if you don't come out there and play with your A game. This is not like college, and you can look at the record and say, we're going to win regardless if we had a bad day. That doesn't happen in the NFL. You have a bad day, ask the Titans when they had a bad day versus the Jets. They didn't score in the red zone. It cost them. So just keep that in mind. Nothing's a given in the National Football League. It's tough. So I know the Titans have, and I'm saying that now because look at the Titans' schedule. I think they have one of the weaker schedules in the National Football League, and I don't want anybody to assume to look that they're going to just win all those games. You got to know who's up, who's not, who will they be facing. Wonder if we have to go a minute without Lawan. That kind of changes everything. Yeah, you're out there with Bobby Hart now. I don't think they want to do that for like 4 weeks in a row.
Roberto.
Yeah. So, going against some elite guys, and they're going to be like fighting over who gets to go against them. So just keep that in mind. You got to play your best, and I think that's, tip the cap to the coaching staff and the players for making sure they reach that intensity level to bring their A game every time. Even though the offense didn't look great, I mean, they still played the best they could with what they were dealt with.
Yeah. Joshua says in the Zone TV chat, my ding-dongs are both of Alabama's coordinators. Eric says my ding-dong.
They got 2 coordinators?
Although it auto-corrected. He says my ding-songs of the week are all the Rams fans who counted us out. I was in the building, and it straight started emptying out just after the third quarter because we took over the stadium.
I could always easy go with the referees in this game or just the Titans game.
Just the overturning Jalen Ramsey's.
Yeah.
Just
man.
to say it
That
was.
was superstar treatment right there.
100%.
It was
Sunday
fine.
Night Football.
Did
This
we
guy's
get the
finishing.
call wrong? That
No,
was
we
fine.
said
This is-
unsportsmanlike. I mean, he just got up and knocked a guy over after a play. Oh, no, that's not unsportsmanlike.
Whoa. Do we have our man, A.J. Brown, and what he said about Jalen Ramsey? Let's play it right here. Lucas Panzakis.
I don't mind the chirping. But little things after the play, like little dirty stuff, and I'm not going for it. I'm a man first, and I'm here to play football, and I'm not trying to, I'm not out here trying to fight nobody, but I'm not taking no shit, though. So, I mean, as you saw the game, I'm not gonna get into all that. We got the dub, and I'm not about to make it about me and him. He knows me. He has my number if you want to see me.
Whoa. What was the question that was asked him to say that last part?
Yeah, I don't know what the follow-up was. It was hard to make out. He did make it clear after he said that. It's not a threat. I'm not trying to reach out.
They
and
actually
fight
do have
Jalen
each other.
Ramsey.
Yes, it was basically, we actually do have each other's numbers.
Right.
So
I mean, we train.
Yeah.
These guys all cross over a little bit of time, but he had never faced him. And Ramsey, goes into this whole different person come game day.
Yeah.
And he turns into the villain. And I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna test your heart, your manhood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when players go, no can do, bro. I don't play that. Or do you just say nope and don't say nothing and go pounding into submission into the ground?
A la the king.
And say, let's keep this going. I'm gonna be helping you up a lot today, bro.
We got to keep it going because we got one more segment coming up. People still on the phone. Keith in Nashville. Not King. If it's the king, that'd be great. But Keith could be a king of something, and he has a ding-dong that he's going to share with us, as will I. Blaine and Mickey.
Get the Steelers and Bears on Monday Night Football. Tonight at 7. 104.5 The Zone.
My ding dong of the week's got to go to Mark Stoops for his ridiculous tirade there at the end of the game. In a game that felt like whoever had the ball last was going to win. I think the wheels just came off. Now, I'm a ball fan, so I was kind of happy to see it. But, it felt like at that point, I know they got a first down after that, but it felt like Kentucky kind of fell apart at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he lost it.
They did get screwed on that face mask.
Sure did. No, it was a valid call. No, I mean that they missed, especially at home. But he can't lose his cool because I think, kind of just didn't look good. It just wasn't a good look, even though they did get the first down. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And think about how many coaches don't lose their cool in that situation where all of us think, I'll be like, I would be tearing my jacket off and throwing it like basketball coaches where they just lose their mind and throw stuff or throw their jacket or whatever. Most football coaches don't do that. They just take whatever it is and they go, okay, then I got to figure out another way to win this because we didn't get this call or this didn't happen. And they get mad and they may yell at the officials. But that dude was like, I'm not getting out of here without MFing this.
Well, he knew that could have cost him the game. Yep. At the time, that's what he was thinking.
Yep.
Like,
well, it would have put him in field goal range.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why he lost it. He knew this one here, you can't miss this one. And they just outright missed it. That was a bad call. Bad miss.
They did miss it.
Great game, though. Great for UT.
Multiple people have tweeted us just about this today randomly, and it's something we've talked about, and I'll give my ding-dong in a second before we go, but the idea of having the Sky official. Have the Sky official. After 5 on Twitter, AF. Every week I request this. Can I be a replay official? They're terrible. They have monitors in front of them. One thing is the monitor's like 4 by 4 inches.
It's like an iPhone.
Literally, why not just have them look at their phone? If they're really going to do that, find a giant monitor that they can go look at to see everything. But the other thing is this. People always suggest just have the eye in the sky official. Or if there's something egregious, within a second, within whatever, that guy can buzz and go, it wasn't a face mask. Pick up the flag. I have 16 screens. And I know people don't want more of that. They don't want the game delayed. Mm-hmm. But just the thought that somebody, and UT fans are like, no, keep the rules like they are now. But just to have that eye in the sky official who could clean something like that up.
A lot of calls were missed against you. I mean, for UT, even in other games that they wish they would have caught too.
Sure.
So, no, I agree with especially Power 5 conferences that can afford to have that kind of officiating from up above from the sky. That's a good idea. I like that.
Eye in the sky. Guy in a room full of monitors.
I can care less if it delays the game because you're probably maybe doing it, 5 times a game, maybe?
If even that, I would think.
Yeah, just MAC, just in general. And MAC, yeah, so I would think that's worthy of that because you don't want someone to win a game that was undeserved because of a missed call. And I know everybody's, that's human nature. Nah, not now with replay.
Shouldn't be. We have high def in replay. Mm-hmm. We have the highest of high def TV. It's just, there's so many cameras. Every game's on, think about this. Every game's on TV. It wasn't the case for college football. It wasn't the case for NFL football at one point. But it is now. Every game is on TV. Even if it's on the internet, it's on TV. So there are multiple cameras. It's all in glorious high def. The eye in the sky could have fixed that face mask in a second. Guys, I'm watching 16 replays. It wasn't even close. Pick up the flag. Do what you got to do. Whatever. All right, Lucas, tell us we got to go. Here's my ding-dong. Green Bay Packers, just everybody involved. And this has nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. They were completely unprepared to help the rookie or the second-year guy. He didn't play that. To help Jordan Love win the game. Their special teams, they missed a field goal. Then they got a field goal blocked. Amari Rodgers didn't catch a punt that went bounding down the field. And then Malik Taylor just fell down on another punt, and the ball bounced and hit him. Here's from USA Today, the Packers USA Today site. 9 points, 6 lost. Missing 2 field goals, 3 given. The Packers lost by 6.